Welcome to my library. The fire is warm, the night is cold, and I have a story that simply must be told.
I am Norman G. Rock, and you are watching Histropedia. What if the gods were immortal, but still jealous, angry, loving and flawed, just like humans? What if lightning wasn't just a natural force, but the weapon of a king in the sky? Welcome to Greek mythology, a world where gods ruled from mountaintops, monsters roamed the earth, and every storm, season, and shadow had a story behind it. Greek mythology is a collection of ancient stories created by the people of ancient Greece. But these weren't just bedtime tales. For the Greeks, mythology was their way of understanding the world. Before science, before modern religion, before written history. Why does thunder strike? Why does love hurt? Why does death feel unfair? Instead of equations and experiments, the Greeks answered these questions with gods. Each god represented a force of nature, an emotion, or a human struggle. Greek mythology was a religion, a moral system, and a mirror reflecting human behavior, all at the same time. Greek mythology began over 3,000 years ago, around 1500 BCE, in the lands we now call Greece and the Aegean region. At first, these stories were not written down. They were spoken, sung, and passed from generation to generation. Poets like Homer and Hesiod eventually preserved them in epic poems. Stories like the Iliad, the Odyssey, and the Theogony. These myths shaped Greek culture, politics, art, and identity. To the ancient Greeks, the gods weren't distant or perfect. They were close. They argued, they interfered, they cared, sometimes too much. At the center of Greek mythology stood the Olympian gods, who lived atop Mount Olympus. Let's meet them, not as a list but as personalities. Zeus, king of the gods, ruler of the sky and thunder. Zeus represented power and authority, but also desire and impulsiveness. He controlled lightning, yet often failed to control himself. Hera, queen of the gods, goddess of marriage and family. Hera stood for loyalty, but she is also remembered for jealousy and revenge, especially against those who threatened her marriage. Poseidon, god of the sea, earthquakes and storms. The oceans reflected his nature, calm one moment, violent the next. Athena, goddess of wisdom, strategy, and intelligent warfare. She symbolized reason over rage, planning over chaos. Athena was the mind behind the sword. Apollo, god of light, music, prophecy, and healing. Apollo represented balance, art and logic, beauty and discipline. Artemis, goddess of the moon, wilderness and independence. She stood for freedom, nature, and strength beyond social rules. Ares, god of war, not strategy, but chaos. Ares embodied violence, aggression, and raw emotion. He was feared, not admired. Aphrodite, goddess of love and desire. She represented attraction, beauty, and the power love has to inspire and destroy. Hephaestus, god of fire and craftsmanship. A symbol of creativity born from pain, Hephaestus showed that strength doesn't always look perfect. Dionysus, god of wine, pleasure, and madness. He represented escape from rules, from reality, from control. Hades, ruler of the underworld. Despite popular belief, Hades was not evil. He governed death, not as punishment, but as balance. Did people really believe in these gods? Yes, Greek mythology was once a living religion. People prayed to these gods, built temples, offered sacrifices, and shaped their lives around divine favor. Over time, however, philosophy and later religions replaced mythological worship. But Greek mythology never truly disappeared. Today, a small number of people still practice modern Hellenism. a revival of ancient Greek religious traditions. While rare, the belief survives. Why Greek mythology still matters? Greek mythology isn't just about gods, it's about us. These stories explore jealousy, love, pride, fear, ambition, and loss. They remind us that power can corrupt, wisdom takes effort, and even immortality doesn't guarantee happiness. That's why these myths still inspire movies, books, games, and art thousands of years later. Perhaps Greek mythology was never meant to explain the gods. Perhaps it was meant to explain humanity. Because in these stories, the gods act like us, and we see ourselves reflected in them. And that is why Greek mythology refuses to fade into history. Thanks for watching.